I read Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen recently and I really enjoyed it, so let's talk about it. Basically, Our Infinite Fates follows Evelyn, who has been killed before her 18th birthday in every single life, and every single one she's been hunted down and killed. And in every single life she's been in, she's hunted down by the same centuries-old enemy that is determined to take her out. But this is one of the first lives where she's wanted to stay past 18 to help save her sister, who is currently terminally ill, and she's the only one that can help her. Which basically leads to this cat and mouse chase throughout multiple different lives through these two characters, Arden and Evelyn, and how through multiple different lifetimes, multiple different bodies, multiple different people, they are drawn to each other and fight each other to death every single time. Was also trying to fight off the feeling of falling in love with each other. I think my favourite part about this was definitely all the different lives we got to see and experience of both Evelyn and Arden. And I did love how every single time they were reincarnated, they were put into different bodies, different genders, different identities, and I think that's really what made this book quite poignant for me. And I think Laura did a great job of putting that diversity into the story, and it really kind of just like helped enhance their connection between each other through these different lives, that no matter who and where they always were drawn to each other, even without knowing that they were drawn to each other. And I think that's what made this book quite perfect with that trope. I feel like what I did love about this romantasy book as well, that I feel like the tropes weren't as apparent in the marketing, and that's what made me like want to read this more, because I didn't absolutely know what was going to happen. I did know there was obviously going to be more of that enemies to lovers element, but other than that I had no idea what the tropes were, and I think that going into that blind made this story quite more interesting for me. And I think this is probably one of the most unique ideas in a fantasy world that I have read from in quite a while. I think the idea of the ribbon of fate and how we are kind of all intertwined with each other, I think was really well done. I think the pacing of this was really good. The only thing is I think the latter half of the book did slow down a little bit for me, with the storyline being a little bit more confusing, and I kind of wanted more about each of these different lives that both Evelyn and Arden were in, and I kind of wish we had longer chapters with those instead of like the same more present day plot. I think I was more interested in those past lives than the normal plot that she was experiencing in present day. But I just think this story is just so beautifully written. There was so many quotes and elements of this that I couldn't stop wanting to highlight. And the kind of a connection between Evelyn and Arden was this whole soul tie element, which I feel like was so perfectly represented. But this is definitely one I recommend. I did give it like 4.5 stars in the end, because there was just the few bits that I mentioned that kind of put me off at giving it that final 5-star, but I really highly recommend this, and I really cannot wait to read more from Laura Stephen, because this was just so beautiful and so amazing.